to AFF Winds of Change, the show that takes you behind the blade. As host Afonso Faria explores the evolving wind energy landscape. With decades of experience in management supervision and quality assurance, he leads insightful discussions on the changes shaping our industry. We invite you to listen, learn, and join the conversation.
Hey guys, welcome back to the AFF Winds of Change podcast. If you are not following, then you should and participate, and also feel free to drop a message and let me know if there is a topic that you would like to discuss. Also, for the ones that follow us, for the ones that know us, if you feel like you'd like to participate, if you feel like you'd like to have this conversation one-to-one with me, where everyone else listens to your perspective and your view as well on whatever topic that you want to discuss, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to send me a message, direct message, an email, either on LinkedIn or on my own phone. If you have my number, feel free to do so. It's the intention that we interact with each other and that we talk with each other within the industry. Now, today we're going to talk about something that is a little bit different, still within the industry, still within developing the industry. And actually, if I look into what we are going to present, what we're going to talk about, it's maybe the future, or maybe the future is here already. We're going to go a little bit into algorithms. So from wind turbines into algorithms, we're going to go into the next industrial revolution within the energy, of course, and it's the artificial intelligence. It's here. People that don't believe in AI or people that refuse to use AI, I believe that you are definitely leaving something out. We need to embrace technology. We need to embrace the further developments, and it's developing so fast that there is no way to go around it. Within the turbines, there is so much data, so much information that is being processed, and within the whole industry itself, and not only our industry, but all the industries itself, there is so much that goes around it that we cannot go around this. So today, I'm going to do a little bit different. Professionals out there that are very young and still have that experience and still have that dedication, that motivation, and that knowledge to bring something new to the table. So we need to focus on that as well. We need to innovate, and we need to be able to bring fresh blood into the industry, into this sector. And in general, I think we need to keep moving forward. That means that we need to give opportunities, and we need to listen, and we need to see what the young generation is doing. And when I say the young generation, I'm talking about the generation that has actually grown up with all of this intelligence, all of this artificial intelligence, all of the computers. Some of us, when we grew up, we have none of this. But there are bright minds out there that have grown up with all of it, surrounded by it, and they are developing beautiful things. So today my guest is Mr. Uchenna Ngubane. He is the founder of Somahorse Nexus. Somahorse Nexus is a young company. They've developed something that is called AI Talent Operating System. We're going to dive into this. We're going to learn a little bit more about what it is that they actually bring into the table. I think that's very important. What is your vision? Whatever we bring to the table, whatever we design, whatever we want to do, if there is no vision behind it, then there is no purpose behind it. So let's talk with Uchenna. Uchenna is 19 years old. I've talked with Uchenna before, and he's very clever. He has a lot to say. He has a lot to bring to the table. So let's dive into it. Uchenna, welcome. Welcome to this podcast.
Hello.
Hi, Uchenna.
Hi.
Welcome. I'm good. Thank you.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's really an honor to be here. I just love to share a bit of our work we are.
Thank you for taking the invite. Uchenna, you are 19 years old. You are the founder of a company, Somahorse Nexus. Tell us a little bit about AI and about what Horse is developing.
So yeah, I recently founded Somahorse Nexus. Basically, Somahorse is a company which helps connect AI developers across Africa who are to actually be out there and start creating AI solutions with enterprises that are actually looking to implement AI solutions. They systems. So, of course, as we know, majority of speculations out there that there weren't actually enough AI, but the reality is there is a large of developers out there, especially across the continent of Africa, who are always building and are looking for opportunities where they can put their work out there on meaningful companies that are bringing change for Africa. So it's never been an issue of a shortage of developers, but really a way to actually provide them an opportunity so that they can prove themselves. Because, not everyone has the same opportunity to actually be from a situation where they can go to a certain university, which is considered to be favorites for a certain course or for a certain degree, or maybe have a referral or someone that can actually put them in a position where they have an opportunity. But a lot of people have the opportunity to actually, so once they actually are people that can learn and have that type of skill, I think it's only fair for us to provide solutions or opportunities to them to actually put them out there. So that's what we are doing at Somahorse. We're actually connecting developers with companies that are implementing AI solutions. So instead of it being a thing of required to maybe have a CV or maybe 3 years experience, developers now who actually say that they can code, they just simply have to go through a certification that we have, depending on the type of language that they could add or the type of sector they're interested in. And once you reach the certain performance thresholds that we do have in place, you are then certified and you start receiving AI paid projects from companies. Because, if I was self-taught and the person went to a university, honestly, I believe we should have the same opportunity, because we clearly have the same skill. So that's what we are creating, an opportunity for developers. And then on the enterprise side, I think it's easier now for clients to actually get AI solutions without having to go through freelance platforms, not being sure if, it's guaranteed that they will get an AI solution. Because I can certainly just go on ChatGPT and put together a CV and say that it's analyst.
I was, let's dive a little bit into it because there's a lot of passion I can hear in your speech and what you're saying. Like I've said earlier on, if we don't have a vision, then we don't have a purpose. And to have a vision, you need to have a passion as well. Otherwise, then what's the point, right? But let's go a little bit back. When you say developers, nowadays with ChatGPT and with all of the platforms that is out there for AI performance and AI development. So when you say developers, does that mean that you take the opportunity for someone that is developing a certain software that helps the industry, that helps to process data or that supports companies to process data, and that you are then taking those persons that are doing that and you are connecting them then to the companies, the enterprises that is out there? Or how does that work?
Okay, so if I'm someone that has self-taught myself how to code and I have a good degree of understanding on how certain languages work, I am able to provide solutions and I'm quite confident at that. So what we do with that particular person, they sign up onto our platform. So if they are someone that is well experienced in maybe Python or maybe TensorFlow, whatever language you're skilled in, you go through a certain certification that we have on the platform. And once you pass that, you then start getting AI projects from enterprises that are looking to implement solutions. So if a fintech in Africa, for example, if a bank needs perhaps maybe a fraud detection system, they no longer have to go through the whole process of hiring. They can now simply get the tool. It's guaranteed. They go on the platform, they put that AI solution that they need, like a fraud detection, and then the system automatically matches AI developers that have proven themselves on that particular tool and those particular AI languages that are needed for that tool. So now it's no more a thing of they had to use a CV. No, the developers said they can code. So they actually have proved it on the platform with the certain certification thresholds that we have on it. So when developers are matched, we are able now to guarantee that it's developers that do have that skill set.
Because artificial intelligence and the whole development of softwares and so on, I speak from my own experience where just recently I had an author or someone approach me for developing a software that would help me a lot. But then just because there is sensitive data there, I refused to work with them. There was just something that didn't match. So how do you control that? How do you control sensitive data? How do you control the data flow? Or how do you control if someone is developing some kind of software, especially if we go into big enterprises, even small enterprises, we need to make sure that there is no data breach and everything is secured and settled. Nowadays, when I look into the artificial intelligence, to the developers, to the softwares, to all the data that is around us, there is a lot of people out there that is developing something. they are developing softwares, they are developing programs, they are developing a lot of things. So how do you actually filter that? How do you filter what is actually beneficial, what is actually good from what is average, or what is something that maybe is good, but it's not good for commercial perspectives? I mean, we are businesses, we need to run a business. You have your own business, you need to stand behind your business. So you cannot take the risk that you hire someone, that you contract someone that is then going to put you at risk with developing something that is not correct, or that is then going to have a breach in data or something. So how do you control that? How do you monitor that?
So before any tool is deployed to a specific fintech, there has to be a certain testing that is done. So before it is actually deployed to the enterprise, it has to reach a certain threshold that we do have in place. And if that is not done, what normally happens is it has to be either assessed or it has to be rebuilt to ensure that it does reach those certifications. So it's never a situation where we deploy an AI solution. It is tested before deployed to the clients. So it isn't a situation where we are not sure. We first ensure that internally it is tested by the team itself that's working on the app, and it reaches the thresholds that we have put in place for it to be considered as ready for commercial deployments, or it's ready for people to start making use of that tool. So I think that is an important thing that actually we have to ensure at all times, because at the end of the day, we are deploying these tools for an actual business that is running, especially when you consider like fintechs. You need to understand that probably over millions of people are using this platform. So if whatever we provide is a small issue, we're not affecting a company, we are affecting a million people. So really it is something that we consider deeply, and have to actually ensure that we do ensure that there is no situation where maybe it's bugged, or there's a situation where maybe the clients finds themselves having to trace back on what exactly is going on and justify the issues with the tool. So we ensure that we do our thing, and it has to reach certain thresholds before we can officially provide the clients. So yeah, that's something important.
That is actually one of the most difficult things within companies. There are other things out there that are quite difficult. Running companies is not a walk to the bank. It's actually quite comprehensive. But I can imagine that especially when we talk about softwares, about programming, about solutions that go into the industry, that go into other companies, if I make a very small comparison towards technical skills that sometimes people claim that they have, and then we contract them and then turn out that they don't have, even though the CVs, they look fine and everything looks good. But then when you actually go into it and you actually see that the CV is actually backed up by, I'm sure you go through that as well, because I'm sure there is a lot of people out there that with ChatGPT, nowadays we can actually get a university degree with ChatGPT. So, and that is hard. How do you constantly, that's something that you must battle with constantly.
Yeah, I think if you really understand the platform we are creating, that's the whole point why we've been creating this platform, because that's the issue that's really faced. Like I said, if I'm applying now to a job opportunity, I could get accepted with just creating a ChatGPT CV. And on the other side, we have the CTO who's actually trying to hire a data analyst because they're facing certain issues. So you're here with a CV that is made by ChatGPT. So it really something that has to be filtered and needs to find a way. So I think really what we do with this is why we have implemented a thing of, it's not even what CVs or maybe what university you studied. It's clearly a matter of proof. That's why the certification, actually you going through the certain data sets related to maybe the type of tool that you had selected or the type of sector. And the testing does show in a sense that actually by the time you finish the data set that we had, or the testing that we actually, it's not exactly the type of tool that you're going to be working. So we're testing if you actually can work on the AI, the fraud detection tool that you're going to be working on for companies. And if you can, that's all you need. I think realistically, when you go to a company and you're trying to get hired, we come at CVs, but that's just how they're trying to see proof on paper that you actually can do the job. But realistically, they actually want to see an actual proof in a sense where you're doing it. So we are actually doing that. We're not securing proof with CVs to say, no, here's a piece of paper. She said that she has done that. No, she has done that type of tool on the platform. She has created a specific tool, this fraud detection before. So we are certain that she can be part of this specific team to create a fraud detection tool. Every AI developer that we add onto our platform have been certified with our thresholds that we have for a specific type of tools and the specific type of sector. So it's nothing to do with CV. That's the whole thing we are trying to eliminate, because at the same time, that's what's holding developers back from being able to get opportunities. Because they didn't study from where else, from here, or they don't have this number of experience. But in 3 months, I can be a full stack coder, or I can be a full stack developer in 3 months of being in my room and just fully studying online courses. There's a lot of online courses now that don't require one to actually be in a physical university. Everything is accessible online. So yeah, that's what we are creating.
Client that comes to you, that comes to Somahorse Nexus, they will then get the full package, the service supply, they will get the software, the solution that they are looking for, they will get it, and you have done all the work, and you have developed the team, you have developed the person so that their platform is ready to go and the customer gets what they actually want. That's amazing. That's something that that's developing people. That is taking people, giving them the chance, developing them further, making sure that they have what they need, of course, that they actually focus and they actually want to do that and they are dedicated to do so and develop them further. That's amazing. And you are 19 years old and you are developing this. What made you step into this? Let me ask you a very personal question. What is the drive behind you? What made you have such passion to want to get out there and want to give people a chance that otherwise they would not have a chance?
To be honest, the reason why I really started this is because I didn't have a chance myself. I didn't actually get an opportunity to actually get to university. So if I'm in a position where I don't have an opportunity to study, you'd have difficulties in opportunities or even a future in a sense. So why not create a platform where that gives people an opportunity in the sense where they don't have to have a university experience, or they don't have to maybe be entitled to that, you know what I mean? A lot of things that are learned in uni, you only see it all the time, maybe on platforms like LinkedIn, where people are constantly sharing courses that actually are available for people without going to a university. And it's the exact same thing we'd be learning from this. I think me seeing that, not having that opportunity, actually, I thought, why not create something for myself that can actually impact Africa? Because I've always had that with it. I've always wanted to create something that can be very much impactful. Whatever I do or whatever position I get, it will be impactful and for a very large number. And once I had that vision to actually work at Somahorse, I knew it was uptown from there. So honestly, it was my past experience, and also just, like I said, create an opportunity for others to be able to get connected to better pay. And wherever you are, if I'm from a very rural area, that's the opportunity someone who's in a very good university has. That's amazing. So, endeavoring for enterprise.
Tell me, what does Somahorse stand for? Why the name Somahorse?
Okay, that's actually, listen, okay. Somahorse actually comes from my surname, right? So my surname is South African surname. So the clan name is actually, right, which is a clan name in a Zulu language. So Somahorse is in Zulu, right? So the word Hashi is actually horse, right? So I just changed that
to the English,
and then I said Somahorse.
Okay.
I just wanted it to be culture to me and like my background, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's very sentimental to me, but that's actually where it comes from. It's actually my clan name. I just saw the English.
I have to say, I'm really amazed. You are so young, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but you are so young and you do something that people actually forget to do sometimes. And that is, if you don't have the opportunity and if you don't have the path in front of you, then you just make your own opportunities. And then you make your own path and you go for it. And you have that vision in your mind and you go for it. And more important, you make sure that other people go along with you. And that's something that is we should be grateful for young people like you, young adults like you, that have that opportunity, that have that mindset, that have that vision, and go for it and give the others an opportunity. Because that's how maybe we will not achieve it, but at least we try to develop something, we try to do something better. Otherwise, nothing will change. In this world nowadays, we have all the wars going on, we have all the differences in social classes and all of that. People need to stand up and they need to find their own way. So I have to give it to you. Congratulations. That is amazing. And you go back to your own roots where you get your name and you actually put it into English, and that's an amazing name. Just to close off here the conversation, because we still have a little bit of time. How are you because we are a renewable industry. So are you developing something for the renewable industry, or is this something that is in your mind, or is this something that will be developed? The wind farms, the solar parks, they have tremendous amount of data that comes from them and needs to be analyzed, needs to be reviewed. Customers are constantly looking for a different way to do that, a faster way to analyze the wind turbines, analyze the solar parks, analyze errors, data, production. Is that something that you are already developing or that you have plans to develop?
Oh, yes, most definitely. Like, especially since I've been very close with my advisor, Mr. Tony, who's actually the CEO of a renewables in Africa company. He's actually also opened my eye a lot in the renewables energy sector, especially when you look across Africa. And I'll actually speak about South Africa, where I'm from. Really, it's something that should be looked into a lot, especially since how we've been having a huge crisis for the past, let's say, 5, 6, 7 years. We've been having a lot of load shedding issues. And I think a lot of that has been the fact that our main resource for energy was coal. So if we had to really look at solar energy as a whole sector and start trying to create something quite impactful with it, it can actually go a very long way, because that's what I'm actually looking at too, especially where I'm from. If it can be something that we look into and create a way where we can actually make it easier for us to access something like electricity, which has been an issue for millions of homes for a very long time across South Africa. And there's ways for us to actually obtain, there's a lot of renewable energy that we can actually use to be able to generate electricity, which is something issue in South Africa. So yeah, very much, very much folks with Mr. Tony, and it's something that we want to actually very much solidify as a sector, especially since we connect AI development to different sectors. So I think solar renewables energy is something very much on the list, as the next sector to add, because like the gap is there, and the opportunity, when there's a gap, that creates an opportunity. So there's a huge opportunity to actually create impact on not just South Africa. I just mentioned South Africa because that's where I grew up, and I saw a really huge gap for renewable energy, especially, and that's the way in a country that is considered to be in the very top end across Africa. Imagine actually across Africa. So that really does create an opportunity. And yeah, there's something we definitely look at.
I share the same opinion, and we've been studying and we've been following also other countries and other regions in Africa. And there is a lot of clever entrepreneurs out there. There is a lot of knowledge out there. There's a lot of skills out there, technical skills, but there's the need for a structured investment in growing and making it further. One last question for you, and then we're going to wrap it up because we're almost out of time. But one last question for you. Where will Somahorse Nexus be in 10 years' time?
In 10 years' time, I actually see Somahorse Nexus as a very solidified infrastructure across Africa, especially for talent. I think it will get to a point where companies are easily a solution, primarily because of Somahorse Nexus, which is connecting AI developers in Africa, which may have not had a huge opportunity, but now have that access to be able to get connected due to the skill that they obtain or have. So I see it as a very dominant and main structure for how talents actually get opportunity across Africa. Currently, we are operating in 5 countries, which is South Africa, Morocco, Nigeria, Egypt, and Kenya. But the main goal in 10 years to be very much dominant across Africa, to the point where it's almost mandatory for you to be Somahorse Nexus certified, not in a very egotistic way, but honestly, for you to get an opportunity. I think currently the way things are, we do have a lot of marketplaces out there that do actually connect developers. But I think the point is, we want to create an opportunity where it isn't really limited to where you are in across Africa or which school I went to. But now in 10 years, a developer who just learns how to code in 3 months, that has the skill, they can easily now go onto Somahorse Nexus, prove that skill, and they start getting matched to paid projects. And companies now easily access AI solutions in every sector. Whether you're in agriculture, you just started a farm and you want to create crop disease scanner, you can easily go onto Somahorse Nexus. We simply connect AI developers that have proven themselves in that specific sector and that specific skill set. And now it's easy for you to obtain this tool, or maybe it's manufacturing or education. But yeah, another goal probably would be to expand into more sectors, like how I mentioned that this year, obviously, we're looking into adding renewables energy as a sector, but the goal is to be very much dominant in a lot of more sectors throughout the years, even sectors where it seemed like there was no room for AI. But I think there's always a room to automate business and to actually speed up operations in every aspect, every business. So there's always a room for AI solutions. In 10 years, we will be very much dominant. We've created a large opportunity for a lot of enterprises that are forefront in this whole AI run.
So artificial intelligence, and it's not criticism, it's a reality. And it's something that I believe in as well. And I believe that everyone should get somehow a grip on it, should understand that it is a shift within culture. It's a shift within industry, within our world as we know it nowadays. But I think we can say that in 10 years time, or maybe we are already going through that, but we are going through a true industry revolution, maybe not so slow, but we are going to change into artificial intelligence, where hundreds of years ago, we had the revolution on the industry where we had things automated and factories and so on. Now we're actually going to go into the computer way of thinking, working and adapting. Maybe that's something that in 10 years time, we'll look back and we say, we saw it coming, we went along with it, and we are working with it. Because it is the future. It is going to be a revolution. It's a new age revolution for us, but it is a revolution. So thank you very much. I admire you, listening to you and listening to the fire in you and the vision that you have. And I can feel the emotion. I can feel the eagerness, and I can feel the wanting to get out there, wanting to do more and wanting to find your way. And like you said it very well, you couldn't find the doors open, so you opened your own doors. That's the way it is, and that's the way we should go for it. So thank you very much. I don't know if you have some last words you want to say to the people listening.
Honestly, I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity, just to be able to share a lot more about Somahorse Nexus and as you are trying to create. So how are you?
I think I've lost Uchenna. Maybe the internet went down or something. Maybe there was a power outage. And we do need to go more into the renewable industry so that we don't have power outages and we can continue to have these podcasts and we continue to talk with each other all over the world. That's one of the beautiful things that we have nowadays and we didn't have years ago. And that is the internet and the ability to actually do this remotely on all different parts of the world. I mean, I'm in Portugal now. Uchenna is in South Africa. Tony, that we spoke about, he's in the UK. And as we speak, I have workers all over Europe as well. And we keep contact because we have the internet, because we have all these programs and we have all the new technology that is helping us do so. And it's really amazing to hear the drive, the vision of young entrepreneurs and young adults that want to bring something new into this industry, into the world itself. And I think the biggest lessons, there's two lessons here that I would like to reflect a little bit on. And that is the artificial intelligence itself. And I remember some years ago when we first started talking about ChatGPT and how good or how bad it was, I will not use it, I will use it, and so on, and all the conversations. I'm sure everyone has had that conversation with someone at some point. It's out here, and we need to use it. We need to know how to use it in a structured way, in a beneficial way, and we also need to know the danger behind it. We can have machines, programs, softwares, whatever application telling us what to do, but we cannot lose ourselves. So we need to use it as a tool. For example, as a company, if we use a certain artificial intelligence that help us to program better, to organize ourselves better, to get a better hold on expenses, invoicing, tracking works, whatever, analyzing data from the turbines, analyzing errors from the turbines so that we are more targeted and thus more efficient, then we should use it as that. We cannot lose ourselves. If we are going to use it to pretend that we have something that we have not, then eventually the truth will come out and it will catch up with us. So learn how to use it as a tool, embrace it as a tool, and take the benefit from it as any other tool. And the other big, very big lesson or reflection that I want to take from this podcast is this mindset. Not always are we going to have the opportunity out there, and not always is it going to be easy. Not always is it going to be laid out for us. The path is not laid out for us in the way that we want. And sometimes we need to make our own path. If we are going to wait for the perfect opportunity, for the perfect timing, for the perfect circumstances, then we're never going to take any chances. We're never going to take any step forward. We're never going to do anything with our lives. And you see it here. The young adult, 19 years old, he found himself out there with not enough chances, not enough opportunities. For whatever reason, that doesn't matter. But he found himself in a situation where the opportunity was not there. He could not go further. So he made his own opportunity. And he's developing something, but he's helping also other people to develop something. That's very important. Help yourself, then you can help others. Guys, closing up the podcast, thank you very much once again for everyone that participates, everyone that listens to the podcast, that follows us. If you don't follow us, then please start following. Then you can get more of this information. We can share more. We can discuss more. I think it's time for someone in the field to reach out to me and to step up and say, listen, let's talk about a certain topic. I have a lot of topics that I need to set together and develop and talk about, but there's always space to talk with you guys personally, directly. Feel free to reach out. Feel free to send me a message. Say what it is that you want to talk about. I'll make some time and we'll make this happen. Once again, thank you very much. I just got the message saying that his battery died. That's the reason why we lost Uchenna. Thank you very much for participating. Thank you very much for sharing your fire in you, your devotion, your motivation. It's certainly very welcomed. It's certainly taken into consideration. Listeners, all the viewers, thank you very much for once again participating, listening to and seeing us. I will see you guys out there. Stay safe. The season is about to start. Make sure that you have everything ready to go. Make sure that you are healthy, that you are safe, and keep working, keep building those turbines because we need more clean energy. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on AFF Winds of Change. We appreciate your time and hope you enjoy this deep dive into the wind energy world. Stay tuned for our next episode where Afonso Faria returns with more insights. Until then, keep riding the winds of change.